The welcomed hysteria of college football's triumphant return is fading into the background as week 2 fast approaches, and it's time to keep winning. Fortunately for most programs, the upcoming slate is still favorable. Non-conference games and expectedly lopsided ones, in many cases, remain the bulk of the schedule around the football bowl subdivision. There are, however, a few marquee games. The headliner is Texas at Michigan, while Tennessee and NC State play a neutral site affair. League matchups are also tricking in. Top 25 teams Utah and Georgia Tech are preparing for conference opponents this weekend. Hey there, welcome everybody to the Week 2 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting perhaps the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us tomorrow night for the season premiere of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. Not much more to say. We're going to try to do it the same way we did it last night. You remember last night where we did the rapid fire? I'm hoping we can, have the same amount of success we did last night. So in order to do that, we're going to have to just, we're going to have to dive right on in and, we're only going to go into great detail on the marquee games. For those dud games, we're just gonna, rapid fire them. I believe we have 23 games on the slate for this week. So, but what a way to start it off, though. Ho, 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 baby. Ass backwards show, folks, because the main event is leading off here tonight. The game of the week, the first of 5 12 noon games we're gonna get into on for Saturday. But it doesn't get any bigger than this. The game of the week, the number 3 Texas Longhorns squaring off against the number 10 reigning, defending, undisputed college football playoff national champions, the Michigan Wolverines, the Big House, Michigan Stadium, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Big noon Saturday on Fox. You know who works that as always. It'll be Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, and the All-American girl, Jenny Taft. Texas opening up as a 7.5 point favorite. Oh, MF, I feel bad for you here. I got to be honest. Michigan's defense is probably very good, and it will be a noisy environment in Ann Arbor. But if the Wolverines don't figure out a few answers for their offense, if they don't figure out a few answers for their offense, Texas should not find itself in much danger of an upset. I'm sorry, MF. I got to do it. I am going to go with the Texas Longhorns to win this game. I got Texas winning. My final score, 27-17. I think it will be close going into the fourth, but I think Texas will put it away with a late score. Texas steals one in the Big House, 27-17. Texas easy win over Colorado State last week. Michigan ugly win over Fresno State. Should have been a little more decisive, but, it is what it is. So 27-17, Texas wins. MF, like I said, ass backwards show, main event leading off. Don't get no bigger than this. Number 10.
I was going to say that this was going to be one of those type of games where, Michigan played like Michigan. If you've been following the Wolverines like me and Michael Bullock does, slow start in the first half, domination in the second half. We can't do that against Texas. I will openly admit that. They gotta play out the way that they normally have to handle their business. The way they played in the national championship game is the way they gotta play against Texas, or how they normally handle against teams like Alabama. This is a big game. This is a big matchup. Yes, they are the underdogs. Obviously, a lot of people saw what Michigan did, and that kind of scared a few people right out of the gate. But I feel like, look, Michigan handled the big moments. They're not afraid of the big moment. So I think it's going to be one of those type of games. If it turns into a dogfight, I don't think Texas can hang with Michigan, especially if Michigan gets their second half things and everything else. If they get their heads together And if they play like they play against teams like Ohio State, like they play against Alabama, like they played against Washington when they won the national championship, they're not afraid of the big moment. This is not Michigan from yesteryear. This is the Michigan Wolverines, the reigning and defending national champions. And don't you ever forget that, Anthony Florio. So I'm going to go
Never.
for the upset. I'm going home, and I'm saying Michigan wins the game. We'll move on.
All right. All right. So with that being said, let's move on now to our next 12 noon game, and we're going to stay in the Big Ten. We got the number 8 Penn State Nittany Lions, their home opener, Beaver Stadium, Happy Valley. They're going to be welcoming the Falcons of Bowling Green. And you can find this game over on the Big Ten Network. And bear with me for a moment as I get my announcer sheet here. I know it's in here. For some odd reason, it's not coming up. Oh, never mind. I got it. It's going to be Chris Vosters and Matt Millen. I'm not sure who the sideline reporter is. I have a limited sheet here, but Chris Vosters and Matt Millen will be calling the game for the Big Ten Network. Penn State opening up as a 35-point favorite here. So MF, Penn State, home opener against Bowling Green, coming off of that impressive win in Morgantown against West Virginia, despite that crazy weather they had down there.
Yeah, they had almost a 3.5-hour delay. That's how bad it was.
Yeesh.
They played a little bit. They played at least almost close to a first half, and then it wasn't the rain that caused it. It was the lightning. There was severe thunderstorms in the area, and it pushed the game back about 3 hours before they got into the second half. But then when Penn State got back on the field, they played and dominated West Virginia. Basically, everybody was all talking about West Virginia, how they could be a good team and this and that. They got overhyped. They're overrated. They got exposed as a bunch of frauds. Penn State's going to win this game, and they'll win this one pretty easily. Anthony, it's yours.
Yes. I, too, have Penn State winning this one as well. Penn State played a very impressive game in Morgantown to roll West Virginia in week 1. If the Nittany Lions keep that up, they'll be contending for a trip to the college football playoff. Remember, 12 teams. They keep playing like this, they might have a legitimate chance to make it. So we'll see. So I got Penn State, another easy win. I'm going to say 44-10, Penn State all over Bowling Green. All right, next up, sleeper game of the week. I'm going to call this next game, to be honest with you, as it will feature the number 16 Oklahoma State Cowboys once again at home at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. And they're going to be welcoming the Arkansas Razorbacks. And you can find this game over on ABC. And on the call for this game, it will be, I think I just saw Dave Patch here. Yes, it'll be Dave Patch, Dusty Dvorak, and along with Dusty Dvoracek, they will be on the call for this. Oklahoma State opening up as a 7.5-point favorite in this one. Yeah, I'm going a little too far on my browser here. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask a question, and this is in regards to Arkansas's coach, Sam Pittman. You want to cool a hot seat? Beat a ranked team on the road. Arkansas coach Sam Pittman needs a marquee win, and traveling to Oklahoma State fits the billing. Unfortunately for the Hogs, though, that's going to be a tough ask. Opposite Oklahoma State's All-American running back, Ollie Gordon II. I could see this game, just like with the Texas and Michigan. I think this could be a close game going into the fourth, but I think Oklahoma State will put it away with a late score. So I got Oklahoma State winning this one. My final score, 36-24. Oklahoma State defeats Arkansas. So, MF, your thoughts as Arkansas and Oklahoma State battling what I'm calling the sleeper game of week 2.
Sleeper game of the week, no doubt about it. But I'm going to go with Oklahoma State as well. I think that this is going to be, like you said, I think it'll be closer in the first half, and then Oklahoma State should impose their will in the second half and win this pretty comfortably by at least 2 scores.
All righty. And MF, you'll lead off on our next matchup. You want a sleeper? speaking of sleeper games, here's another one. The number 17 Kansas State Wildcats on the road against the Tulane Greenway from Yulman Stadium in New Orleans. And you can find this game over on ESPN with Bob Wischusen, Louis Riddick, and Chris Budden. They will have the call for that one. And Kansas State opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. MF, I'm gonna be honest with you. That last game we talked about as a sleeper game, this Kansas State Tulane, trap game for Kansas State. I'm calling it.
Yeah, because of who they got to play next week. And obviously, you don't want to look past Tulane, but I don't think it is that big of a trap. I don't think they're going to fall into the trap. I hope not, because God forbid if they do. But I gotta feel like K-State will get the job done. They'll win this game, and I think they'll win this. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be tight, but I think K-State will win it. So Florio, it's yours.
Like I said, consider this the trap game of the weekend. Kansas State takes on Arizona in a non-conference game next week, but first the Wildcats need to beat Tulane on the road. Tulane blanked Tennessee Martin in the opener and theoretically has a very balanced offense. I love what I saw from Avery Johnson, but I think this is his first true test of the year. So Kansas State wins, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. Kansas State wins this one 27-20. Kansas State knocks off Tulane. Michael Bullock is here, so we're going to catch him up on the games he has missed. So Michael Bullock, come on in. We're going to play a quick round of catch up here. You only missed 4 games. Not too bad. But we started off with the main event, of course. The game of the week. Number 3, Texas. Number 10, Michigan. I hate to do it to you right off the bat, but it's the classic case of who do you agree with? Do you agree with me when I say Texas wins, or do you agree with your Michigan brother, MF?
Wow, that is tough. I mean, Texas, they are a really good team, but Michigan is the defending national champions. They're at home in the big house. I'll tell you this, Florio. If this game was in Texas, I'd easily go with the Longhorns. But this is Ann Arbor. This is the home of the national champions, the biggest stadium, one of the biggest stadiums in college football. Sometimes that home field advantage can really motivate a team. And I think it's going to do that. It's going to be a close one, but I got Michigan barely beating the Texas Longhorns. I'm going to go 27-24, and this would be their first big-time win of the season over a top 10 team.
All right. Next up, number 8, Penn State at home in their home opener against Bowling Green.
Oh, I got Penn State winning that one.
Sleeper game of the week when it comes to week 2. Number 16, Oklahoma State at home against Arkansas.
Yeah, like you said, this could be a sleeper game here, but I think at the end of the day, I got Oklahoma State winning.
And the game that MF and I just talked about, number 17, Kansas State squaring off against Tulane. I call it a trap game for Kansas State.
It is a trap game, but I think at the end, I think Kansas State will win this one.
All right. So with that, we are all caught up. So we're going to move on now to our next game here, the final 12 noon game. And we have a trend here. We got yet another sleeper matchup here. The number 23 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets on the road against the Syracuse Orange. And it'll take place at the JMA Wireless, formerly the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. And this game will be broadcast on the ACC network. And on the call for that one will be Chris Cotter and Mark Herzlich. And Georgia Tech opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. I'll be honest with you. I'm tempted to call for an upset here. I really, really am. But I have loved what I've seen from Georgia Tech. Remember, Georgia Tech knocked off Florida State 2 weeks ago in Ireland. And then Syracuse saw Ohio State transfer Kyle McCord throw for 4 touchdowns in his team debut. Some are leaning towards the home team, but this is an ideal matchup to start shaping real expectations for 2024. If Syracuse were to pull the upset, I would not at all be surprised. I really would not. But I think we might have a dark horse on our hand in Georgia Tech. So I'm taking a chance, and I'm going to go with Georgia Tech to win this one. I'm going to say 29-24. Georgia Tech steals one in the Dome. But MF, I would not at all be surprised if Syracuse wins. And just like with K-State and Tulane, here's a trap game for G-Tech.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A trap game for G-Tech. No, totally agree with what you just said there, Anthony. But the thing is, Georgia Tech went in to Dublin, Ireland, and stunned Florida State on a game-winning field goal. I don't think they're as crazy or as often. I don't think it's as crazy or as fearful or anything like that. Yeah, it's going to get a little rougher, but I do believe they'll get the job done. So I really got nothing more to say. I do have Georgia Tech winning, and who knows? Maybe it's another late game field goal that gets them over the hump. So who knows? Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, like you said, another sleeper game here. And yeah, I mean, Syracuse could definitely give Georgia Tech all they can handle. But I just think at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets to win this one. So nothing more to say. It's on the next game for you.
All right. That's it for the 12 noon games. And now we're going to move on. We have only one 2 o'clock game. And we have it's a rare 2 o'clock kickoff. And we started off with the number 1 team in the land, the Maiden Georgia Bulldogs, in their home opener against the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech. And you can find this game over on the SEC Network. And it'll be Jay Alter and Rocky Boyman on the call. I don't have a spread for this game, but you got to imagine Georgia's got to be a very sizable favorite. So there is absolutely no question about it. So I believe MF starts on this one. So MF, Georgia, home opener against Tennessee Tech. They got to be a massive favorite.
They don't even have it. There's no spread. It's that basically Vegas is basically telling the people, don't even make a bet, don't even think about it. We all know how this goes. Georgia wins. Bullet go.
Yeah,
especially
Georgia,
after what they did to Clemson last week too.
Yeah. Georgia wins in a rout. It's yours, Florio.
Tennessee Tech coach Bobby Wilder told reporters, he said, and I quote, "If I was being honest, I would tell you I'm not thrilled to be headed to Athens, Georgia this weekend. So I'll be dishonest." And then he said, "So I'll be dishonest and say I'm very excited to be playing Georgia at Sanford Stadium in front of 93,000. Okay, Coach Wilder. You're talking about Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia, those infamous hedges down there. Yeah. This is going to be a laugher. Georgia flexed their muscle against Clemson. Ended up being a disappointing game. We were all excited thinking game of the week. Oh no. Georgia flexed their muscle. Credit to MF. He had that one. So there isn't anything else left for me to say. Georgia, easy win. I'll go as far as to say I think they pitch a shutout here. I'm going to say 63-0. Georgia all over Tennessee Tech. All right, boys, it's time to move on to our 3:30 games. And we started off with my team as we lead off the 3:30 matchup. The now number 5 Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the home opener, Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend. And they will be welcoming the Huskies of Northern Illinois. And we have some new additions to a new addition here. Noah Eagle out, Dan Hicks in. So it'll be Dan Hicks along with Jason Garrett and Zora Stevenson. And Notre Dame opening up as a 28-point favorite. MF, Notre Dame. Actually, no, hold on.
Bullock.
Yeah, it is Bullock. That's what I thought. All right, Michael Bullock, come on in. You started off. Notre Dame, number 5. They move up 2 spots from 7 after that big win at Kyle Field last week, and now they have an easy home opener here against Northern Illinois.
Yeah, it's going to be an easy home opener for the Fighting Irish. I mean, coming off of that win over Texas A&M at Kyle Field, and yeah, there's no way they're losing this home opener. They're winning this one big, so it's yours, Florio.
Okay, massive road win, check. Return home to face a non-power opponent, check. While this is the prototypical context of a letdown game, perhaps Notre Dame might trudge out to a slow start, but Northern Illinois has a sturdy defense. But eventually, though, the Irish will pull away and win this one comfortably. I got Notre Dame winning this one. My final score, 38-14. Notre Dame over Northern Illinois. MF, Notre Dame, they're in the top 5. Let's see if they can keep it that way.
Yeah, no, this should be a comfortable win. This should be fine for what it's worth, and there won't be much of a debate or anything to scare the Notre Dame faithful here. This should be an easy win for them. So nothing more to say, and Warriors, back to you.
Of course, Notre Dame football returning for yet another season on NBC, of course. So, all right,
And I believe it's also simulcast on Peacock too.
That's correct.
I think this game,
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Just like our current game right now in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. That's on NBC and Peacock also. So, all right. So with that being said, let's move on to our next 3:30 game. This one, you can find this one over on Fox. Big 12 battle. The number 11 Utah Utes back at home at Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. They're going to be hosting the Baylor Bears. And you can find this game on Fox with Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, and Allison Williams. And Utah opening up as a 15-point favorite in this one. So not much more to say here. Utah quarterback Cameron Rising threw 5 touchdowns in his return. So preseason optimism about the Utes is not going anywhere. Baylor has the talent to make it interesting, but I'm squarely in, quote unquote, I'll see it when I believe it mode after Baylor struggled so much in 2023. Close game into the 4th, but I think Utah will pull away with a late score and win it. So I got Utah winning this one, 31-20. Utah defeats Baylor. MF, your thoughts?
Utah, comfortable win. I think they'll win by at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. Baylor will make it interesting, but Utah's just going to be too strong. Bullet go.
Yeah, I'm going with Utah to defeat Baylor here. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. On to the next game, Florio.
All right, we have another sleeper matchup here, guys. It's the Battle of Iowa, and we're going to find this one on the Big Ten, and this is going to be on the Big Ten on CBS. So here we go. The now number 21 Iowa Hawkeyes back at home at Kinnick Stadium in Des Moines, Iowa, and they're going to be welcoming their state rivals, the Iowa State Cyclones. Big Ten on CBS. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jenny Dell. They will have it. Iowa opening up, and if I'm looking at my spreadsheet correctly, I believe this is the smallest spread of the week. It is the smallest spread of the week. Iowa opening up as only a 3.5-point favorite here. So not much more to say. MF, Battle of Iowa. Who you got?
I think that's why. And normally, this game would not be this early in the season. This is one of those games that you would normally see right around the Thanksgiving weekend. So that's very interesting that they decided to pull it this early in the year to put this battle out there. But I got to go with Iowa. I think their defense is going to be able to withstand and hold up to the pressure, and I think they're going to win this game. So give me Iowa. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Iowa winning this one. I think the defense is going to hold up, and they're going to hold up and beat Iowa State. So Iowa wins. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, I got Iowa winning as well. In theory, this in-state rivalry will be a defensive slugfest, which has been the trend for a half decade. The main question persists: is Iowa's offense good enough? The unit looks solid in a win over Illinois State, but Iowa State is a much different story. And and of course, I got to go with Iowa in this one, but it will be a close game, though. I will say 20-16, Iowa knocks off Iowa State. Excuse me. And our final 3:30 matchup, and it will feature back in the top 25, the now number 22 Louisville Cardinals. Their home opener at L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium, and they're going to be welcoming the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State. And you can find this game over on the ACC network. And on the call for that one, it'll be Justin Kutcher and Charles Arbuckle. They will be on the call for that one. And Louisville opening up as a 28.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, you lead off. Who you got?
What was the point spread?
Point spread is 28.5 for Louisville.
All right, yeah. Yeah, there's no way Louisville's losing this game to them. So I'm gonna go with the Louisville Cardinals to easily win this game here. So it's yours, Florida.
Last week, Jacksonville State surrendered 55 points in a loss to Coastal Carolina. Not a good sign before traveling to Louisville. Easy win for Louisville, 51-17. Louisville all over Jacksonville State. MF?
I'm going to go with Louisville as well. I think they'll win this game, and it's going to be pretty handily. So nothing more to say, Anthony. Let's go on to the 4 o'clock slate, or the 4:15 kickoff, I should say.
A 4:15 kickoff. How about that? You don't see those times often in the college game. I mean,
yeah, you normally see that around the NFL, either 4:05 or 4:25.
Yeah, I mean, you remember the late games used to be at 4:15 in the NFL before they moved it to 4:25.
Mm-hmm.
But we have one 4:15 kickoff, and it will feature the number 6 Ole Miss Rebels back at home at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. And they're going to be welcoming the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee. And this game can be found over on the SEC network. And on the call for that game will be Dave Neal and Aaron Murray. And we go from the smallest spread of the week to, I do believe I have this as the largest spread of the week. Ole Miss is opening up as a 42.5-point favorite. 42.5 for Ole Miss. So there's nothing left to say here, guys. Not much to say here, I should say. Just got to find my note here. Okay. After storming to a 21-0 lead, Middle Tennessee needed a last-second touchdown to beat Tennessee Tech. I am not of the opinion that Ole Miss will be dealing with a similar situation. Ole Miss rolls 59-10 over Middle Tennessee. And MF, it's all because of their outstanding quarterback, Jackson Dart, who I believe is one of the early front runners for the Heisman.
I agree. No doubt about it. I do. I feel the same way. I believe that when this is all said and done, Ole Miss should win this one going away. So, yeah, nothing more to say.
Bullock?
Yeah, Ole Miss, they run away with this one big time. So let's move on.
All right, we go from another rare kickoff time, a 6 o'clock kickoff, and it will feature the now number 12 Miami, Florida Hurricanes, their home opener, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and they're going to be welcoming the Rattlers of Florida A&M. ACC Network is where you can find this game. Chucky Kempf and Forrest Connolly will be your announcers for that game. No spread here, obviously, because the U just like Georgia, they got to be a massive favorite, I am sure. And why the hell not? MF, did you see what the U did in Florida last week? Kicked the door down, made themselves at home, and we have another early Heisman front runner in their quarterback, Cam Ward.
Yeah, and the thing was, a lot of people didn't know what to expect from Miami. Nobody really knew what the Hurricanes were going to go, and with a lot of the teams that normally who would be really good falling apart and losing games, it kind of opened the door, and now you got people thinking maybe Miami as the ACC champions. I don't want to toot the horn too hardcore here, but there is some people out there that kind of feel that might be possible. We don't know. We'll see. But I do believe Miami should win this one and win this one pretty comfortably. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about Miami? They went into the swamp and basically were all over Florida. I mean, that was a statement win by the by the Hurricanes, and I do expect the momentum to continue for them, and I think they will win this one big. So Miami wins big time. It's yours, Florida.
There isn't anything else left to say except Cam Ward, early Heisman contender, along with Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. Those were the two of the standout performances from last week. But there are some other standout performers, which we'll address later in the show. But it's the U. I mean, I was honestly, this was another game I was disappointed with last week. I was expecting a close competitive game, just like those classic Miami and Florida games from yesteryear. But oh no, the U made a statement, went into the swamp, and beat the you-know-what out of the Gators. So Miami rolls, easy win, 59-7. The U all over Florida A&M. We got 7 o'clock games, gentlemen. We got 3 of them. And we're going to start it off with the number 4, Alabama Crimson Tide, back at home, once again at home at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. And they're going to be welcoming the Bulls of South Florida. And you can find this game over on ESPN as part of the SEC on ESPN. New voice of Monday Night Raw, Mr. Joe Tessitore. He will be there along with Jesse Palmer and the beautiful Katie George. And Bama opening up as a 31-point favorite. Michael Bullock, there's nothing left to say except roll Tide once again.
Oh yeah, it's going to be roll Tide for the Crimson Tide. I mean, they started off the season with a win last week, and yeah, I expect it to continue for them. So roll Tide, roll in this one. It's yours, Florio.
And speaking of early Heisman frontrunners, we talked about Jackson Dart of Ole Miss, Cam Ward of the U. I think we need to throw Jalen Milroe in that list after what he did in their opener last week. You may recall that former Alabama coach Nick Saban benched Jalen Milroe when Alabama took on South Florida last season. The feeling around Bama's quarterback situation has improved slightly since then. This is that quote-unquote next victim moment for Bama. So next victim, Bama rolls 52-17.
Even though Milroe had a moment earlier this year that he would love to forget.
Indeed, he would. So
I think you know where I'm going with.
Yes, I do, Bullock. So
yep, Alabama, Michigan.
Indeed. So, all right, MF, Bama, South Florida, Jalen Milroe. Can he follow up that great performance he had last week?
I think he will. I think he'll back it up. I think it'll be a good game for Bama. They should have no problem, and they should easily win this one going away. So, Florio, back to you.
All right, next 7 o'clock game, the number 9 Missouri Tigers at home at Memorial Stadium / Farrat Field in Columbia, Missouri. They're going to be welcoming the Bulls of Buffalo. And you can find this game over on the SEC Network with Lowell Galindo and Fozzie Whitaker. They will be on the call for that one. Mizzou opening up as a 34.5-point favorite. Yeah, no doubt about this one. It's Mizzou. In not there's honestly nothing left to say except it should be a comfortable win for Mizzou. So 45-14, Mizzou all over Buffalo. MF?
Missouri should win this one. I don't even think. I think it'll be a domination from beginning to end. So yeah, Missouri wins. Bullock.
Yeah, I think Missouri. They should handle their business with Buffalo. So it's yours for you.
The theme of this week so far, guys. Sleeper matchups, and here's another sleeper matchup. Our final 7:00 game. The number 19 Kansas Jayhawks on the road against the Illinois Fighting Illini from Memorial Stadium in Champaign, Illinois. And you can find this game over on Fox Sports 1. Alex Faust and Robert Smith will have the call. And Kansas opening up as only a 5.5-point favorite. So, MF, here's another sleeper / trap game here. Kansas and Illinois.
Yeah, in a way it is, but the thing is, Illinois hasn't really proven anything to me to make me say that this is a scary matchup. Where Kansas actually was really good until they ran into a murderer's row of games, and that kind of upended them at the end of the season. Because you remember they were actually undefeated, and they were really playing really good football. And there were some people that were thinking, could they win the Big 12 at one point? So I kind of feel like Kansas should win this game. I think it should be at least comfortable enough. But, I mean, like I said, because I haven't seen enough from Illinois that would make me say Illinois is going to win this game. Unfortunately, I don't. I don't see it. So, if that's being harsh, whatever. I'm going with Kansas to win. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this should be a good one here. I think Illinois is going to hang in there throughout the game, but I think eventually Kansas will pull it out. I mean, would I be surprised if Illinois wins this game? No, I wouldn't be, but I think Kansas is going to win, but they're just going to hang on by a thread. It's yours, Florio.
Both teams cruised in a clash with a lower division foe in week 1. Kansas toppled Illinois 34-23 last season, and a similar result is reasonable to expect. However, it should be far more competitive. Kansas had built a 27-point cushion before the Illini trimmed the gap in garbage time. Close game here, I agree. Kansas wins this one. They should. I think they can. I think they'll still eke it out here. 30-22. Kansas defeats Illinois. And with that, we move on to our 7:30 games. We got 3 more of those. And we started off with the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes, once again at home at the Horseshoe, Ohio Stadium in Columbus. And they're going to be welcoming the Broncos of Western Michigan. And this game can be found, of course, over on the Big Ten Network. And on that call will be, just need to find it in my notes here, Jeff Levering and Jake Butt will be calling that game. And Ohio State opening up as a 38.5-point favorite. I believe Bullock starts this one off. So Bullock, Ohio State, they got off to a bit of a slow start against Akron, but then they finally turned on the Jets, and I suspect this should be another easy win for the Ohio State University.
Yeah, I think this is going to be another easy win for the Buckeyes here, and yeah, they should be able to handle their business with Western Michigan, and yeah, so Buckeyes win. It's yours, Florio.
Sorry, guys, it's gonna have to be Ohio State here. Western Michigan put a scare into Wisconsin, but that's more concern for Western Michigan than Ohio State. Though the Buckeyes had a quiet opening frame against Akron, they unleashed wide receiver Jeremiah Smith and scored twice on defense in a 52-6 romp. figures to be comparable here in week 2. Another easy win. I'm going to say 48-7, Ohio State all over Western Michigan. MF?
Yeah, and Ohio State won't make the same mistakes that they did. They're just going to be on cruise control the whole game. Their starters will probably only play maybe 3 quarters, and then they'll bring in the backups and everybody else. But at the end of the day, they're going to handle their business. They're going to win their game, and they'll win this one pretty comfortably. So I really got nothing more to say. And yeah, Ohio State with a comfortable victory. So Anthony, back to you.
This is a bit of a week when it comes to college football. We only have 2 exciting games. Of course, Texas and Michigan is the game, but here is the easy number 2 game of the week right here. The ABC Saturday night game of the week. The number 14 Tennessee Volunteers squaring off against the number 24 North Carolina State Wolfpack from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, the home of the NFL's Carolina Panthers. It's the ABC Saturday night game of the week. And if that's the game, then you know who it's going to be. But the thing is, Reese Davis will once again be sitting in for Chris Fowler. Of course, Chris Fowler has his commitments with the U.S. Open. So it'll be Reese Davis along with Kirk Herbstreit and Holly Rowe. This will be their game right here. And Tennessee opening up as a 10-point favorite. So, yeah, number 2 game of the week right here. And, man, this is a tough one, honestly. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I gotta go with Tennessee in this one. In classic overreaction fashion, Tennessee would be a major favorite. North Carolina State entered the 4th quarter trailing. Listen to that again. Entered the 4th quarter trailing lower division Western Carolina. But Tennessee looked outstanding in that 69-3 romp of Chattanooga. I believe that Tennessee wins, and NC State isn't actually that bad. Close game into the 4th, but I think Tennessee will put it away with a late score. I got Tennessee winning this game 41-27. Tennessee defeats NC State. MF, your thoughts? Tennessee and NC State in Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium, number 2 game of the week.
Yeah, for very early in this season, you get these games where these games will be on neutral sites or away from their home campuses. But I do believe that Tennessee should win this game, and they'll win this one pretty comfortably. So, nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. I give it to you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game, but eventually Tennessee will pull away. So I got the Tennessee Volunteers winning as well. So let's move on.
And we move on to our final 7:30 game. The now number 18 LSU Tigers, their home opener at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. They're going to be welcoming the Colonels of Nichols State. And you can find this game over on the SEC Network with Matt Schumacher and Dustin Fox. They will have the call. No spread here. And MF, all I can say is LSU. Oh, boy, did they let one get away against SC last week.
Absolutely. There's really nothing more to say on that one. It was, like you said, a very poor performance. And I'm gonna say LSU, but I do believe LSU should bounce back. I think they should easily beat McNeese State. So yeah, LSU wins.
It's actually Nichols State.
Nichols State, sorry.
Yeah, LSU will win this one. I mean, like you said, they let one get away against USC last week. I mean, so much so. I mean, you saw in the post-game presser where Brian Kelly was he was pissed. Yeah. I mean, it's so much so he pounded the table. I mean, if that's not frustration, I don't know what is. I mean, and yeah, LSU I think should win, but boy howdy, I mean, if LSU if they let this one get away against Nicholls State, if you thought Brian Kelly going on a tirade last week was bad, if they lose to Nicholls State, I shudder to imagine what his presser is going to would be this week.
The alumni and the boosters going to be asking for his head on a silver platter. They're going to be looking for a new head coach if they lose this game.
Just like Mike Norville in Florida State after that embarrassing loss to BC from Monday night.
Yeah.
Florida State's in big trouble too.
But well, the thing was, they were already in big trouble after they lost to Georgia Tech in Dublin. That was the first. And I even told you about that last week, boys.
Yes, and so much so that Florida State is unranked.
They're 0-2, and they only have a 1% chance to make the playoff. 1%. That's not good.
But yeah, LSU wins. I just don't see them losing to Nicholls State. But yeah, you better hope and pray LSU wins, because Brian Kelly will go on another tirade if that happens.
I don't mean to ruffle any feathers, but Brian Kelly, I hate to break it to you, bro, you should have stayed in South Bend, man. You had a damn good thing going there. Just saying. But
I don't think he wants to hear it.
Yeah, he may not want to hear it, but
he needs to hear it.
Truth hurts.
He was a freaking dumbass. I'm not gonna mix the words with that one. He was a freaking dumbass. He should have stayed at Notre Dame. Plain and simple.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
I'm gonna say that Royal's not gonna stay. You know that, guys.
Yeah. If he had stayed at Notre Dame, let's just say if he had stayed in South Bend, he would not be pounding the damn table during press conferences. So,
yeah, he took his ball and went someplace else.
And Marcus Freeman is now the beneficiary.
So, yep.
And Marcus Freeman picking up where he left off. So, and look where they are. They're in the top 5. LSU was 13. They're now 18. LSU squandered a chance for a late win over USC in Las Vegas last Sunday. There should not be any drama here. There better not be any drama here. Although Nicholls at least hung around with Louisiana Tech in a 25-17 loss. But I don't expect that here. If there was ever a get-right game, this has to be a get-right for LSU here. 52-14 LSU over Nicholls State. And with that, we move on to a rare 7:45 kickoff. The number 15 Oklahoma Sooners back at home at Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium in Norman. And they're going to be welcoming the Houston Cougars. And this game will take place over on the SEC Network. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelik will have the call. Oklahoma opening up as a 28.5-point favorite. And I do believe Michael Bullock starts this one off. So Bullock, Boomer Sooner.
Oh yeah, it's going to be Boomer Sooner all night long here. So Oklahoma wins. It's yours, Florio.
Boomer Sooner. There's absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts about this one, guys. Willie Fritz inherited a rebuild at Houston, and for the record, I do believe in his future, but losing 27-7 at home to UNLV is not a great start. Oklahoma rolls behind its powerful offense. Boomer Sooner. Oklahoma rolls 47-14. MF?
Yep. Oklahoma wins. No doubt. Next game.
All right. We have an 8 o'clock game here, guys. And here's a team that should consider themselves very fortunate and lucky to still even be in the top 25 after they got embarrassed by Georgia a week ago. The now number 25 Clemson Tigers, their home opener, Memorial Stadium in Death Valley. And they're going to be welcoming some old friends of you guys, the Appalachian State Mountaineers, coming to town. Over on the ACC network, Wes Durham and Tom Luganville will be on the call. Clemson opening up as a 17-point favorite. We just talked about it with LSU. Here comes another get-right game here. Excuse me a moment. Okay. Clemson unsurprisingly did not beat Georgia in Atlanta. But it's fair to say Clemson fans hope for a more dangerous day from an offense that struggled in 2023. Appalachian State will not be an easy opponent, although Clemson should be able to leave its home opener with a win. 34-13, I got Clemson getting it right, bouncing back against Appalachian State, because if they lose, they gone. So not much more to say. MF, a must-win, get right for Clemson. But against App State, I don't know.
Yeah, and App State will make the game a little interesting, but I do believe when it's all said and done, Clemson should win this one. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got the Clemson Tigers winning this one as well. So it's yours, Florio.
It's not often I say this, but we have not one, but two 10 o'clock kickoffs here. 2 kickoffs at 10 o'clock. How about that? This one, the far more entertaining of the two options. The number 7, Oregon Ducks. Boy, they took a tumble last week. The number 7, Oregon Ducks, back at home at Autzen Stadium in Eugene. And they're going to be welcoming the Boise State Broncos to town. And you can find this game exclusively on Peacock. Peacock exclusive game. Andrew Siciliano and Michael Robinson will be on the call for that one. And Oregon opening up as a 21-point favorite. So who leads off on this one?
I do.
It's MF. Okay. All right, MF. Boise State. Did you see what their running back did last week? Boise State. 267 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. Oregon, we're not saying the same thing about, did you see what Oregon did? Yeah, we saw what Oregon did. They damn near laid an egg against Idaho. They should have won that game. They should have smashed them, but they didn't.
Yeah, they look, I think what it was is first game jitters. I think they didn't really get any opportunity to gel and everything else. And look, they took Iowa or Idaho lightly. They huh?
Absolutely. I said yes. Absolutely.
No, they took them very lightly. They made it look like, oh, well, we can handle the business, blah, 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 blah. No. You got to play 60 minutes, boys. It's not just like, oh, you can do this or you can do that. No, you can't do that. You got to play 60 minutes. You got to play the whole game, and you got to play with high intensity. I know Eric Carrier was very upset. I know for a fact that Eric Carrier was not happy with the way Oregon was playing last week, and I'm almost certain they will not play like this week against Boise State. So I got Oregon winning the game and winning it comfortably. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got. Oh.
It's Boise. Yeah, it's Boise. It's number 7. It's number 7. Yeah, Oregon against Boise State.
I got Oregon winning this one as well. So let's move on, Florio.
Let me just say this: squeeze in a power nap if needed, because it's worth staying up for this game. Boise State was allergic to defense in week 1, but their running back Ashton Gianti scored 6 touchdowns on the ground. Oregon, meanwhile, had a pair of turnovers on downs, 1 interception, and 1 fumble in a forgettable win over Idaho. Oregon should win handily, but that's a nod to the roster more than its performance in the opener. Oregon wins this one a little more comfortably. 41-24, Oregon defeats Boise State. 2 games left. We move on to the other 10 o'clock kickoff. The number 20 Arizona Wildcats back at home at Arizona Stadium in Tucson, welcoming the Lumberjacks of Northern Arizona. ESPN Plus is where you can find this game. Chris Sylvester and Brad Hopkins will be on the call for that one. No spread. So, Michael Bullock, I think we all know who wins this one.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be Arizona winning this one. So, it's yours.
Zona. Don't mind me. I'm just hoping Arizona wide receiver and speaking of standout performances, a moment ago, we talked about Boise State running back, the Boise State running back who had 267 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. How about Arizona wide receiver Tetaroa McMillan? Can he put together a second 300-yard game in a row? Considering you're going up against an easy opposition, I could see it. It could happen, but we'll see. But regardless, Arizona, easy win, 56-10, 56-10. Arizona all over Northern Arizona. MF, can McMillan have another 300-yard game? I think he can.
I think he can. I don't think he will. I say about 200 yards because I think they're going to pull him early on because the game is going to be such a blowout and out of hand that they're not going to need him when it's all said and done. Arizona wins. Florio, 1 game left.
And it's a rare 11 o'clock kickoff. This game will be kicking off at 11 p.m. Saturday night. The now number 13 USC Trojans, their home opener at the legendary Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And they're going to be welcoming the Aggies of Utah State to the Coliseum. And you can find this game over on the Big Ten Network. And on the call for that game will be Guy Haberman and Yogi Roth. USC opening up as a 28.5-point favorite. So there's nothing left for me to say on this one except the importance of the triumph over LSU cannot be understated. Lincoln Riley pulled himself out of hot seat conversations before USC travels to Michigan in 2 weeks. Though his job should be secure into 2025 anyway, barring a truly horrendous meltdown, Riley and the Trojans take another important step toward a competitive year. I think USC will. I don't think they're going to have. They're not going to lead another. There's not going to be any Shakespearean drama, unlike in Vegas. I got USC winning this one, and I got them winning very comfortably, 43-13. USC all over Utah State in the Coliseum. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I got USC winning as well. I think it's going to be a very likable and very easy performance, like you said. But in 2 weeks, they're going to have their major test when they're going up against the defending national champions, Michigan. But I do believe they'll get the job done and they'll win this one. So, Michael Bullock, final say for tonight.
Take us home.
Yeah, I got the USC Trojans winning this one. So, with that being said, Florio, let's put a bow on this edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday.
And we will do exactly that. That will indeed put the bow on this Week 2 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you tomorrow night. MF, what time tomorrow night? Is it 10 or 10:30 tomorrow?
10 o'clock.
10 p.m. Okay. So immediately following Friday Night SmackDown tomorrow night, we will have the season premiere of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. We will recap the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Ravens have just scored a touchdown. We got a game here, guys. Just underway in the fourth quarter. It's now 20-17 now. So let's see what happens with that. We will talk about Ravens Chiefs. Time permitting, we will also address the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil. And then we will preview the first Sunday, the opening Sunday of the NFL season. All the big games on that one. Some of the marquee games, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins, the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts, the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns, the Los Angeles Rams and the Detroit Lions, and the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. Those are just a few of the games we'll be getting into. We'll get into the full slate of Week 1 tomorrow night, 10 p.m. immediately following SmackDown, season premiere of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. No show on Saturday because we're taking Saturday off so we can enjoy the AEW All Out pay-per-view. And then we will be back on Sunday night, probably around the same time, I'm sure, for a special edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, as we will review the final Friday Night SmackDown on Fox before they make the big move to USA next week. And then we will also recap the AEW All Out pay-per-view. That will be on Sunday. And then we get back into a little bit of some normalcy here, guys. Monday night, of course, Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw. And another special Tony's Take. I'm going to be previewing another TNA Plus special, TNA Victory Road, that goes down next week. So that'll be on Monday. And then Wednesday, we got Wednesday Night Madness with MF. We got NXT. We got AEW Dynamite. And we will be previewing the first Thursday Night Football game on Amazon Prime Video. And ho boy, what a way to start off the Amazon schedule. Ho. Buddy Bowl, my Buffalo Bills against MF's Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock. A huge AFC Eastern Division matchup this early on. That's amazing. And then 1 week from tonight, week 3 of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. Listen to the lineup we have for next week. How about Arizona and Kansas State next Friday night? And then on the Saturday slate, how about Alabama squaring off against Wisconsin? Ooh, there's a good one right there. And then, we talked about rivalry games. We're getting the Civil War next week. Oregon and Oregon State. The Civil War is going to be played next week in Corvallis. So you got that to look forward to. It looks like another week, but I'm looking at that Arizona Kansas State game, looking at Bama and Wisconsin, the Civil War, and I'll even give a nod to Georgia and Kentucky. So there you go. So we'll get into all that next week here on College Football Thursday. So that is it. So until tomorrow night for the season premiere of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, this is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, always and forever, the First Lady Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday, and until tomorrow night for the season premiere of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, you've been watching week 2 of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.